kind of square there from Fred Weber. So they're wanting to annex, they own the building there to your, depending on where you're at, to the left, and 50, I want to say 50-something acres there with a little stream going through it. They, I believe, plan on expanding their operations on that parcel of ground eventually as well. It's actually Good Earth Tools.
Jason, can you give a little bit of background about the company and why they want that property, or what they'll have to do with Weber? Or do you know anything about it?
I do not. I know that the north end, that there's going to be an access road, kind of where the gravel road is now for the Hardy project. I believe that that little section was owned by Fred Weber not too terribly long ago, within the last 6 months to a year. They have bought it. That road's going to go through there. They want to, when they expand their operations, they don't want to have to deal with the county and us, so they just want to bring this 2.66 acres into the city.
So they just want to get everything contiguous there under the same regulatory
That is correct.
framework.
And if any of their ground is leased or a road's put through there, they don't have to deal with the county plus us, plus whoever, so,
I sympathize.
yes. So
But Weber is still not within our
they are not.
city boundary,
We have
right?
not been approached by Weber to come into the city.
Right. And so that would be the boundary right there, the
Yes, that
the eastern
road
boundary.
close to that. Yeah, the east side. So they'll, after this hearing, there's a 14-day period for anybody to file a reason not to annex, and then it'll simultaneously, they'll start the process to rezone to M1 through planning and zoning, because it comes in as an RS, which is residential. The rest of their property is owned M1. But I do believe that they will be expanding onto that property, their own business.
Jason, this is a little bit off topic, but if I could ask Robert, who's sitting behind you, is there some way that we can change our procedures such that when we annex ground in, we can do the annexation and the rezoning in a single step rather than having to do this multi-step thing?
Yes, there is. We're looking at putting that as an option, because there is some advantage if you wanted to leave it as a lower classification, if you don't know exactly what you're gonna be zoning it as.
Mm-hmm.
There is an advantage to keeping it as like an RS1. So you still want that in there, but if you know exactly, like in this case, they know what they wanna eventually do with that property, they can just request that zoning at the same time, and we can accept that all as one package.
I can see where having it as RS1 is kind of like a sensible default, but
Right.
rather than having another 30 days delay by the time we have all our meetings,
Yes, we're gonna meet with, we're actually have a meeting with Brandon, and that's on our list for Friday.
good deal. Thank you.
That's all I have.
All right. Any public comments? Mr. Bischoff, you have 2 minutes, sir.
2 minutes. I'll be quick.
Hey, that's all right, I know. You have the floor, sir.
Mr. Mayor, Council, it's 1 year since I stood here for the first time, and Bob Borman, who was with me, sends his regards. And we were here to object to what you were going to do with the James Hardy project. But I'm here to compliment you. I just thought it was fitting with yet another annex to expand this area as an industrial area. I don't know if our county is aware and the city is aware that this is the largest economic project in the last 40 years in the county that you guys have achieved. And Tony, I know you're aware. I'm just not sure if the rest of the city is aware of what you guys have actually walked through. And Tony, we've had a couple of quiet sparring matches because I happened to stumble in on what was actually going on behind the scenes and was pledged to secrecy, which I believe I've honored. But what you've done, sir, and what you have done as a board, to get a public company like James Hardy, a city, a county, a state, a federal government, a river, to the point where you're going to do a $400 million economic development is bordering on miraculous. And I thought somebody should come and speak out loud and tell you that. Because I was with Scott Seek, and he said to me, this county needs an airport. That's why I'm here. And we've lost an airport, and now we need a new airport. And it's this kind of growth that will allow the county to team up with a new jail, to get law and order incorrect, to get a new courthouse, and to become the economic powerhouse of Missouri. And you guys have paved the way. Tony, I take my hat off to you, board, all of you. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, sir.
Alex, I appreciate that, but I also want to redirect some of that, those kudos to Jason and Brandon and Todd Tracy, formerly of Economic Development in Jefferson County. I think together we sat down and mostly Todd and Jason came up with a list of about 100 people without whom something would have fallen through the cracks and this wouldn't have gotten done. But it was a big project.
It is.
I second that absolutely, Jason, and the guys on the team, just an amazing job.
There's, yeah, I appreciate that. And to team off, we have Mr. Shilley in the audience, and he was instrumental in this too. So everybody, Crystal City is a small town, so everybody's important in doing this. So the council, previous admin, it's beneficial. All right. Any more public comments on that? All right. At this time, with no more discussion, the public hearing for petition for voluntary annexation parcel 1940170000005 TX Pops LLC is now closed. All right. I call the regular council meeting for March 27th, 2023 to order. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilperson Kemper. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will once again take roll call. Councilperson Bradley? Here. Councilperson Kemper? Here. Councilperson Geneva? Here. Councilperson Becker?
Still here.
I love that every time we do this. Councilperson Fisher? Here. Councilperson Schomburg is still absent. Councilperson Figueroa? Councilperson Massa? Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve an amended agenda for March 27th, 2023. We are adding an ordinance at the end. You guys should have that other ordinance there. It's ordinance number 1897-2023.
I'll make that motion for the amended ordinance, or amended agenda, rather, sorry.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, has the agenda been posted, dated, and signed? All right. I'll give you a moment to look over the minutes from February 27th, 2023. And when you're ready, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Somebody else could make the motion for the minutes. As the minutes correctly state, I was absent for the first few minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes for February 27th, 2023.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Public comment, we had none. Your check registry, bills, financial, sales tax report, everything is in your packet.
Jason, unless you or Barb want to add something, I'll make a motion to approve the check register and bills and the sales tax report as presented.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
And then I need to make our annual motion. It still puzzles me why the state of Missouri requires this, but apparently we have to modify our budget at the very end of the year so that it reflects what we actually spent. So I will make a motion to allow the city administrator and the finance director to make the necessary budget adjustments for the fiscal year ending 2023.
And I will second.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries on that. Committee reports. Committee reports are in your packet. We have Mr. Turner, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Helms here in the audience. If we have any questions, the information is in your packets. I would like to point out on, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Turner's information, how they're more thorough on the information, so we do appreciate that as a council up here.
I did have one question, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sullivan, I noticed that Culver's is building that as a frame building.
Yes.
Is that typical for a fast food establishment where they're gonna have grease cooking like that? 'Cause that seems odd to me.
Yeah, especially like Culver's, a business that size. I've done one of those, myself in Farmington, and it was built the exact same way. It's a stud frame construction.
I would've thought they would've had to use metal studs at least or in the kitchen area or something.
In the kitchen area, they'll have a hood suppression system,
Okay.
and that area is totally wrapped outside of, you have wood studs, then 2 layers of drywall, then you'll have it wrapped with stainless on top of that, as far as protecting it, plus the Ansel system that'll be there.
Gotcha, thank you.
All righty. Turning the trees look good on Parkview. That was done nicely. Hey, that's a plus. So, you guys have been busy. The sidewalks looking good there. Appreciate that. Yeah, I drove through there on High Street and a couple. Yeah, the tear out there. I saw that next to that big old tree, that wall there is a little iffy.
I told the homeowner moving that last summer sometime that we're not gonna touch the wall. If you want the wall out, we can pull it out, and they're like, yeah, we'll just leave it for now, so.
It'll fall on our
It'll
sidewalk.
eventually fall.
It will. All right.
I don't know what's in that wall.
No, you guys have done well, so. All right, moving on, the council liaison reports. Library School Board, Mr. Fisher?
The Jefferson County REACH program is still going on, and that's all the news that I have.
All right, Councilperson Schoenberg is absent for Park Board. I think they had their workers start today, Mike, so he's pumping out the pool, getting that ready, and, going from there. So, Park is moving right along. Sewage Commission, Mr. Pickrell?
I don't have anything this time.
Planning and Zoning, Mr. Becker?
I don't believe I've received any notice of, meeting for April yet.
No, we will be.
We will have a meeting in April. Is that the second Thursday now?
Yeah.
Okay. So the second Thursday in April will be April 13th. That's at 6:30 PM in this room.
All right. Meeting April 13th, 6:30. Perfect. Zoning Appeals Board, Mr. Ginevra.
We had a meeting on, what day was it, Robert? Thursday or Wednesday? Thursday? Thursday, about, the complex on, Holding Lane and just off of Holding House. It used to be a nursing home. A developer wants to come in and convert it into apartment complex. And I thought Robert did a great job. Do you want to explain the current situation, Robert?
Sure.
Oh, and Councilman Kemper was there too.
All right. Mr.
Yes,
Sullivan?
the request was to, give them a variance for a zoning condition, that's a commercial use inside a residential zoning district, single family. So that particular use for apartments is not allowed there. So it would be spot zoning, so they really couldn't do a change of zoning request, so they request a variance. After hearing everybody's comments from, the people that showed up there, everybody around was notified, via mail about that. So, several people showed up and expressed their concerns, both against and, for the property as well. So, I think the group came up with a good solution, in dealing with, all the concerns that everyone had. and they originally requested a higher number of apartments. They ended up settling on giving them the variance with a maximum number of 10 apartments due to parking concerns and the streets there are narrow. So, the ball's in the court of those people to decide whether they want to take that variance further forward and submit for construction permit. They decided they were going to take that home and crunch the numbers.
Okay.
Now, one thing that we couldn't resolve, and I brought it up in the meeting, was, how that originally got a variance or a conditional use permit to be a nursing home in a residential neighborhood, and no one there knew. So does anybody here know how that happened? Tom, you remember? No?
What was that again?
The nursing home off of, Holdinghausen?
So, one holding lane.
Jack Nelly's house, wasn't it?
I heard it was, and this is just probably rumor, I don't know, but it was before, like,
That used to be Jack Nelly's.
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That's what Dave said.
I'd heard that it was like that before we annexed up there or something like that, so it was kind of grandfathered in as
That's
the...
kind of what we suspected,
Could be,
yeah.
That's what I'd heard, I don't know if that's accurate.
tax record shows back to 96 is all.
So we annexed that way.
Odd to me, but
That was annexed back in
long before that, yeah.
Yeah, long before that it was.
Okay.
I used to work for Jack years ago when he had his plumbing company up there, and, him and his dad.
Hmm.
And they sold it to somebody. Dave, do you remember?
No, but the city annexed that up there. The late seventies or early eighties, because I started working, we had to have 83 and had to go up there when because they were putting sewers in. So it was annexed before that, before 83.
And that building's been like that before it was annexed? Do we know?
I don't think so. I didn't think it was a nursing home back then, but it could have been.
I have no
Okay.
idea.
All right.
Well, like I said, it was, yeah, I lived at Winterwood Ridge Top, and all the nursing home people used to come up into our yard, and that was 1979.
Okay, then, that might have some merit.
I couldn't.
Well, where it came into play was it might have some rules with it back then, and nobody knew what it was, so.
Well, so the Boza meeting went well, and then it's in their court right now.
Yeah, it's in their court to decide, and they are well aware that they have to meet all has to be brought up to new building codes, being it's a change of use within the structure, so, everything will be built up to standard code today.
Okay, just to clarify, then it'll go to P and Z and then from...
No, it's done. Once BOSA makes their decision, if they don't like the decision BOSA made, it really has to go back to them for them to request not a variance, but to an appeal to that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Would they have to put sprinklers in or no?
Depends on how they construct it. If they construct it with the correct firewalls, it's actually small enough, they can compartmentalize it where they don't have to put a sprinkler system in there.
Alrighty, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Ginevra, is that all? All right. Levy Commission, Mr. Kemfer.
I don't have anything.
All right.
Before we move on to the ordinances, do you want to give the chief and Captain a chance to say something about that?
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, does anyone have anything in the audience, wish to speak on anything related to the previous council meeting, February 27th? None? All right. Old business, I have none. New business, I have none. And Chief, would you like to, I breezed through your report and Mr. Becker pointed that out. I saw it when I was reading through. You have an officer that had an award in here. Would you like to comment on that?
That was, Officer Jack Montgomery, I included in there, just to recognize him. We had a CIT banquet earlier this month, and something you can read for yourself, what his actions were. And it's a pretty distinct honor, recognized by all agencies within the county. So I just wanted to forward that to you so you could see that. He does an outstanding job for us and put himself in harm's way. And, not only did he resolve the situation, he went above and beyond to follow up with it, and that's part of being a CIT officer, is solving the problem, continuing to work with people and finding solutions to help people with mental health issues. So outstanding job by him, and, just like I said before, we have several of our people that are CIT trained and are working now actively to try to get the whole department CIT trained. It's pretty expensive, but we're seeing a lot of mental health issues on a daily basis, so we're up on our game in that area.
No, thank you, sir, and that's, I appreciate you putting that in there, 'cause it is pretty detailed on what he did. It's good honor, so. All right, that moves us to ordinances and resolution. Let me flip my paper to where it needs to be. All right, I'll entertain a motion to read Bill 1892-2023 on its first reading by title only.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1892-2023 by title only?
Bill 1892-2023, by title only on its first reading, an ordinance to appropriate $9,701,550 out of all funds of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, to cover the annual budget of all expenditures for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2024.
I'll move to accept Bill 1892-2023 in its first reading by title only.
I'll second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1892-2023 on its first reading by title only. Any discussion?
Mayor, I did want to ask, since we did not have an audience when we were discussing the budget, and we have an audience now, Jason, do you want to say just a few things about some of the highlights of what we're including in this year's budget? I hate to put you on the spot, but...
We could've gave you a heads up.
I've been working on it for 3 months, so I can tell you pretty much.
You should know
That's
that.
what I figured.
I think probably the best thing that we can report this year is that we did, as everybody knows, 4% across the board, starting, with this pay period today, for all the employees in the city. As everybody knows, we're currently in a salary study. We're about 3/4 of the way through that, so I think that was a good faith effort on the council's part. I know the employees sure appreciate it, and, we still have some work to do on that. Pretty much this year with the, new, revenues we're gonna be seeing from some of the places that are coming, it was probably the easiest, I'm gonna say the easiest budget year, but it was a little more relaxing that we're able to, I didn't have to chop anything, if you will. The police department's getting some new police cars, some new in-car cameras, that are a little bit dated. Street departments, a couple dump truck beds, everybody's getting a little bit of something. So it was a good budget year. We think that we still have some room left for some more improvements, depending on what the salary study comes back at. Looks like to go even farther, but I think 4% was very well received by the employees and some of the other things that we're working on. But, we got a lot of good street projects. We got almost $1 million worth of street projects, street, sidewalk, overlays, improvements, ADA ramps, stormwater. So we have a lot of work coming, this year. It was a really good budget to work with this year.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, I had a motion and a second.
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
I'll move to read Bill 1892-2023 on its second reading by title only.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the second and final reading of Bill 1892-2023 by title only, please?
Bill 1892-2023, an ordinance to appropriate $9,701,550 out of all funds of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, to cover the annual budget of all expenditures for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2024.
Thank you.
I'll move to accept Bill 1892-2023 on its second and final reading.
I'll second.
A motion's been made and seconded to approve Bill 1892-2023 on its second and final reading by title only. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll poll the council. Councilperson Bradley? Councilperson Kemfer? Councilperson Ginever? Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Pickrell?
Yes.
Councilperson Massa? Bill number 1892-2023 now becomes ordinance 1892-2023. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. She will be passing that around. Our next one is, if you have a moment, just flip your page, it'll be entertain a motion to read Bill 1893-2023 on its first reading by title only.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Jay, I do have one thing on this one. That is the one where the bid came back significantly lower, correct?
Yeah, came
So-
back $128,000 lower than engineer's estimate, so that kind of triggered Bill 1897 to get Crystal Village repaid. We had some money left over.
And just to clarify, Crystal Village is Bailey on the,
Bailey.
for the newcomers, yeah.
Stoplight to Sacred Heart.
Stoplight to Sacred Heart, so that's gonna, Bailey Road's gonna get an overlay with that other expenditure, so I mean, that's really it's a big deal to come in that much cheaper and then use the money appropriately for a road that's in pretty bad shape, so.
Jason, I'm happy about it, obviously, but why was that estimate so far off?
We don't know. They ranged in about $100,000 difference, so that was the lowest. The engineering firm was here when we opened the bids. They had the bid bonds, everything looked right. They've worked with them before. It's not Joker's Paving, it's Joker's Inc. out of St. Jim. So it is a pretty small job. It's 2 streets, pretty, north and south, not very long, and 2 east and west, not very long. So it's a pretty straight job. It doesn't seem real complicated, but they were,
Are they, we had a conversation about this, that section of Bailey there was paved with that, MoDOT asphalt that was not, like MoDOT approved it, but it wasn't very good, that formulation. Are they gonna use the good stuff this time?
I hope so. This isn't for the Bailey Road, though. The 1897 is the Bailey Road, so it's Joker's Paving.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we ended up having that much money, or coming in that much under the engineer's estimate, we had already budgeted for that engineer's estimate amount. So I told Danny what he thinks.
Oh, I see, this is Joker's, yeah.
Portion in town, which is the Bailey Road, Crystal Village
Mhm.
area. It's pretty torn up. We do have a grant out for that, but it's 3 years away if we get it. And I don't think that road's gonna make it 3 years, so we actually, it's probably a pretty good move up. Hopefully,
Okay.
if it holds up, then we won't have to take that grant all the way into Crystal Village when it happens in 26. If we get it, we can take money and go somewhere else with it.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, all those I do have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1893-2023 by title only?
1893-2023, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Mike Osher, to enter into a contract with Jokers, Inc. to perform paving improvements on various streets in Crystal City for $240,000, $240,420.44.
I'll move to accept Bill 1893-2023 on its first reading.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1893-2023 on its first reading by title only. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
I'll move to read Bill 1893-2023 on its second reading by title only.
I will second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the second and final reading of Bill 1893-2023 by title only, please?
An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Mike Osher, to enter into a contract with Jokers, Inc. to perform paving improvements on various streets in Crystal City for $240,420.44.
I'll move to accept Bill 1893-2023 on its second and final reading.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1893-2023 on its second and final reading by title only. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll poll the council. Councilperson Bradley?
Yes.
Councilperson Kinzer?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginevra?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Picarella?
Yes.
Councilperson Massa? Bill number 1893-2023 now becomes ordinance 1893-2023. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, it is.
All right. We'll get that one going. We have a list of ordinances today, guys. I'll entertain a motion to read Bill 1894-2023 on its first reading by title only.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that bill?
I have a little bit, didn't we do that a few years ago? Did they ever get to the engineering part we talked about?
No, we talked about it, we never materialized.
Never got to the engineering.
There's some engineering work been done, Carl works with Cochran, Carl Bell.
Yeah.
So we're gonna dig through some of those, that stuff, but it's part of the, ADA ramp placement is kinda in that area north. So this whole intersection, stormwater needs redone
Oh, yeah.
on top of the,
Yeah, I knew it needs done, I thought we'd done.
No, we put it off. We were supposed to finish that after we did the 8th Street culvert, and we just never got around to this. So now we're on it.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1894-2023 by title only?
1894-2023, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Mike Osher, to enter into a contract with Cochran Engineering in the amount of $51,861 for engineering design, bidding and construction services related to the 9th and Taylor Intersect Stormwater Project.
I'll move to accept Bill 1894-2023 on its first reading.
I'll second.
All right, a motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1894-2023 on its first reading by title only. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
I'll move to read Bill 1894-2023 on its second reading by title only.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the second and final reading of Bill 1894-2023 by title only, please?
1894-2023, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Mike Osher, to enter into a contract with Cochran Engineering in the amount of $51,861 for engineering design, bidding, and construction services related to the 9th and Taylor Intersect Stormwater Project.
I'll move to accept Bill 1894-2023 on its second reading.
I'll second.
A motion's been made and seconded to approve Bill 1894-2023 on its second and final reading by title only. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll poll the council. Councilperson Bradley?
Yes.
Councilperson Kempfer?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginever?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Picarella?
Yes.
Councilperson Massett?
Yes.
Bill number 1894-2023 now becomes ordinance 1894-2023. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
All right. Moving on, I'll entertain a motion to read Bill 1895-2023 on its first reading by title only.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we just kind of, run through what all this is gonna consist of?
Yeah, so this is the park board voted on this,
Mm-hmm.
and they voted to approve for an engineering plan for Hickey White Park, and we are paying for that out of the 80 fund. And so we're going to write the check from that, so we want an ordinance just to, even though it's the park's decision, just, we thought it'd be diligent to.
But the outcome of this is going to be some plans for actually what's gonna be built there, is that correct?
Engineered plans so that they can drop off a set of plans and get the same bid from company A to company B to company C. So this will have your scope of work. It's a very thorough contract, and it's what's needed to move that Hickey White project forward. And we have set aside, Mr. Shelley set aside funds for that. And Ms. Shelley, you have anything to add to that, sir?
Blueprints and site plans, that's what it's all about. They had it out for bid, but the bid was for other things other than grants is what the bid was for. But now they moved the ballpark, the basketball court from the north end to the south end, so they don't have a whole lot of landfill and movement and everything. So they have to rebid. And the bids they had out before, like I said, they were just for grant purposes only, and they got to rebid it, now we need site plans and blueprints. And, like it costs a little bit of money up front, but it's gonna save you down the road. That's it.
No, I believe, and like I said, the park board voted unanimously unanimously on this. I just thought it would be nice to have our approval on that, so.
I'll move to read Bill 1895-2023 on its first reading by title only.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1895-2023 by title only, please?
Yes. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Mike Osher, to enter into a contract with Cochran Engineering in an amount not to exceed $28,850 for engineering design, bidding, and construction services related to the new Hickey White Park.
I'll move to approve Bill 1895-2023.
I'll second.
A motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1895-2023 on its first reading by title only. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
I'll move to read Bill 1895-2023 on its second reading by title only.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the second and final reading of Bill 1895-2023 by title only, please?
An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Mike Osher, to enter into a contract with Cochran Engineering in an amount not to exceed $28,850 for engineering, design, bidding, and construction services related to the new Hickey White Park.
I'll move to accept Bill 1895-2023 on its second and final reading.
I'll second.
A motion's been made and seconded to approve Bill 1895-2023 on its second and final reading. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll poll the council. Councilperson Bradley?
Yes.
Councilperson Kempfer?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginever?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Picarella?
Yes.
Councilperson Massa?
Yes.
All right. Bill number 1895-2023 now becomes ordinance 1895-2023. Is that correct, Madam Clerk? All right. Did we get that one already through?
It was 95.
That's 95, yeah, so we're on 96 now.
Yep.
Ready? Yeah, we can. I was letting him finish reading that. You're fine, you can.
Oh, no.
Oh, you good?
Sorry.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to read Bill 1896-2023.
I will make that motion on its first reading by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Water rates.
1896.
This is for your water rate. No, we
discussed it
voted,
at the last meeting.
we voted to put it on this agenda, to actually make an ordinance of it.
So, I do wanna, discuss just a couple of things here.
Absolutely.
My reasoning for opposing raising the water rates at this time is predicated on some developments that we expect to take place that will affect the 60 fund sometime during this budget year, which I can't go into because they're not finalized yet. But, it's come to my attention since we had that discussion at the last work session that some of those things that we were expecting to happen are probably not gonna happen during this budget year. Is that accurate, Barb? Right? So, my original reason for opposing this is basically gone. However, I am still gonna vote no, because I sent out a bunch of literature saying that I was gonna vote no, and I will do what I said I was gonna do.
No.
But, the revenue is necessary for the health of the fund, and if that revenue is not going to come from somewhere else like I was expecting it to, then it really should come from a small marginal water rate increase, which is the same thing that we do every year, unless and until that revenue materializes from some other source. So, that's all I have to say.
All right, I have a motion and a second. We had the discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1896-2023 by title only, please?
Yes. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, providing for the amendment of Chapter 28, Article 2, Division 4, Section 28-68A, and Chapter 28, Article 3, Division 5, Section 28-165A of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, so as to update and modify the city's water and sewer rates.
I'll move to accept Bill 1896-2023 on its first reading.
I'll second.
All right, a motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1896.
I guess I can do that, can't I?
Yeah.
I'm so used to
You can
making-
make a motion.
I'm so used to being the one making the motion, I just went ahead and did it.
You can make a motion and still vote no, yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do.
No, that keeps it easy for
Yeah.
our clerk. Yeah, that's fine. A motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1896-2023 on its first reading by title only. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
No.
Any opposed? Mr. Becker? All right, I need a motion to read the bill in its second.
I will move to read Bill 1896-2023 on its second reading by title only.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed?
No.
Mr. Becker is opposed. Madam Clerk, can I have the second and final reading of Bill 1896-2023 by title only, please?
Yes. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, providing for the amendment of Chapter 28, Article 2, Division 4, Section 28-68A, and Chapter 28, Article 3, Division 5, Section 28-165A of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, so as to update and modify the city's water and sewer rates.
Can somebody else make this motion,
Yes.
please?
I make a motion to accept Bill 1896-2023.
All right. I have a motion and a second. A motion's been made and seconded to approve 1896-2023 on its second and final reading by title only. We didn't make it. And you gotta vote to make it an ordinance. We voted to put it on this, so this is actually making an ordinance to do that, which my feelings are the same.
Yeah.
I got you.
This will be a first.
Okay. Well, that's fine. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nope.
Mr. Becker? Poll the council. Oh, hearing none, motion carries. I'll poll the council. Not hearing none. Hearing Mr. Becker, I will poll the council. Councilperson Bradley? Is a yes. Councilperson Kemfer? Councilperson Ginever?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Nope.
Councilperson Fisher? Councilperson Schomburg is absent. Councilperson Picarella?
Yes.
Councilperson Massa?
Yes.
All right. Bill number 1826-2023 now becomes ordinance 1896-2023 with my signature. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
All right. This is where we amended the agenda, 1897-2023. That is going to be not in your packet, but this one here. I'll entertain a motion to read Bill 1897-2023 on its first reading by title only.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just that it's, a delight to be able to do some additional paving work, thanks to that bid that came in low.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that needs it down there. It's
Oh.
horrible.
Yeah, Mr. Becker asked why, before the meeting started, like, hey, why did it come in so, just to mill and fill down there? Jason, we didn't get engineering. We don't have to get an engineering spec because we're just spending.
Yeah, and we didn't have engineering on this, it's just a 2-inch mill, a 2-inch overlay. We will talk to them and see if they can't maybe do something with the storm drain, top of this, down there. But this was a good opportunity, we were surprised by the bids for the, engineer firm, but
It is what it is.
Hey, absolutely. Thank you for adding that.
This is Joker's paving from Pet. So we checked with 2 bidders, 2 companies, one didn't respond, Joker Paving did respond.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1897-2023 by title only, please?
An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Mike Osher, to enter into a contract with Jokers Paving and Contracting to perform paving improvements on various streets in Crystal City for $86,122.
I'll move to accept 1897-2023 in its first reading.
I'll second. Thank you. A motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1897-2023 on its first reading by title only. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
I'll move to read Bill 1897-2023 on its second reading by title only.
I will second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? No? Still none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the second and final reading of Bill 1897-2023 by title only, please?
Move to accept Bill 1897-2023 on its second and final reading.
I'll second. A motion's been made and seconded to approve Bill 1897-2023 on its second and final reading by title only. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll poll the council. Councilperson Bradley?
Yes.
Councilperson Kempfer?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginevra?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Picarella?
Yes.
Councilperson Massa? Bill number 1897-2023 now becomes ordinance 1897-2023. Correct, Madam Clerk? All right. Thank you guys for hanging in there on those. We're to city administrator, we're, lighten it up. Jason's report is in your packet. Did you guys have any,
I had one thing I wanted to discuss real quick, it was the first item on there, was really just, as I talked about during the, budget, the employees were very appreciative of the 4%, and the things, some of the things that we had talked about during, the work session was the changing to the rule of 80, which is, years of service plus age. And then when we were talking to loggers, they mentioned a 3-year final average salary range versus a 5-year salary average range. So all I'm looking for tonight is permission to continue talking with loggers. We get one free evaluation. So the numbers that I sent you by email, I don't see them changing a whole lot, is a very, affordable implementation, something we can implement that will help the employees, I think, across all funds. It's always based on your total payroll, so if we make more adjustments throughout the year when we get the salary study back, it'll change. But across all the funds, it was under $18,000 to implement the rule of 80. The additional the final 3-year average really doesn't change anything on our end. It's just a look-back period for when the employee's ready to retire. They look at 3 years versus 5 years.
What did they have before? Rule 80?
We just don't have one. No, right.
we have our Rule 80, don't we, at school, so it's set up.
We've been asked several times, we've just never really followed through with it. So there's a period, like I explained in the email, if we get one free evaluation, which probably won't be too different than what I sent you, but it'll be an actual hard number that we can guarantee. And then there's a period of, public comment, posting. It won't happen at once. It'll be probably midsummer before we get the numbers and can really.
So do you need a motion to continue on, or we just, I mean, that's kind of, you would like a motion?
Yeah.
So while we're discussing this, Barb, you answered this question by email, or maybe you answered it to Jason and Jason forwarded it to me or something. So the actual cost and the annual outlay that it takes us to pay for loggers is not that much. But there's also a liability entry that gets entered on the city's balance sheet on our audited financials every year that will show a pretty drastically increased liability for future pension outlays. So what was that number? I couldn't tell from what you sent me.
Jason's number, general was 400,000.
Additionally, or total?
What's the change?
The additional was around 600,000 a month across everything.
That we'll have to show in our books.
Okay.
It's not a cash outlay though.
Yeah, I understand that. It's something that it's a phantom entry like depreciation that we have to show on our books because it's something that if everybody were to retire tomorrow, we would have to pay this out.
Right.
And I think the reason that's on there is because some other states have had pension fund liability that is more than what the municipalities can afford, and they get in a pickle. It doesn't make any sense to me why we have to state that on our financials, because it should be on loggers' books, not ours, it seems like. But, is that a big enough entry that it's gonna change some ratio that's gonna make the city have trouble getting funding in the future or anything like that, or?
I mean, I spoke to Molly, our auditor, about
Mhm.
Friday afternoon, and she didn't seem to indicate, she was like, it's a book entry that is, you know, we were already doing this, and there's already wild fluctuations based
Right.
on whatever the actuaries determine, based on how the market does and things like that, so.
Right.
It's kind of just a stab in the dark by the actuaries anyway, to know what the number is, so I don't see it having an impact.
Okay, that's all I wanted to hear.
I wanted to bring something else up too. Did I understand in some of the communications that, we don't have that many people that are gonna be retiring soon, so it worked out?
So it only affects, if you started, I don't have the email in front of me, sorry. I believe if you started after 40, it has no impact. If you started at 20 in 30 years, then it could have an impact. So
Right.
we don't have it, this is on our conference call that we had. She just kind of said, looking at your numbers, I don't see a whole lot of people that this may impact right away. You know, so
Meaning that we don't have a lot of people approaching retirement? Or?
I think we have some approaching retirement, but it's not like all of a sudden we're gonna lose 10 people. You know, there's some people that started here 15 years ago, or when, you know, like Mr. Turner, he's been here 15 years, started when he was 16 or something like that, so he could go if he can afford to at 50.
If you guys approve this, I can be out here in 14.
So it's cases like that.
We're
I
gonna
started right
approve
at
that.
40, it's not gonna really affect me at all.
Okay.
So it just varies on when you started, and then, you know, too, if you can afford to retire when you meet your rule 82.
Right.
So it,
Okay.
and along with this, if we implement this, we may have to change our 5-year insurance rule that we have when people retire.
Right.
Right now, if you retire at 60, we'll pick up 5 years for police officers when they retire, or the age of 60 when we're eligible to retire. They're eligible to retire at 55. So we may have to just modify it, if we want to, that we'll give you 5 years. So if you retire at 50 because you're eligible by Rule 80, we'll carry you until you're 55. After that, you're on your own. It's what you guys end up wanting to do when this is.
I know the 5 years, I've talked to some, you know, that's a big deal. That's a
Yeah.
big deal for us.
So it could be
Teachers
a-
don't get that. That's a
Right.
huge perk for someone like, to do that.
Right. So we pick up to the age of 55. So if you retire at 62, you only get 3 years of paid city retirement, or insurance, I'm sorry. If that makes sense.
The post-retirement insurance was a much bigger deal actually before the ACA in 2010 or whatever that was.
Mhm.
Because now you at least have guaranteed eligibility. Before, you could be in a situation where you needed health insurance at age 61, you just couldn't get it.
Right. So we haven't got that far down the road yet. This is just we get one free, and they're only like $5.
Evaluation, I
But we'd
guess.
have to pay for the next one if we get it and don't decide to do it, so.
Sounds good to me. I mean, it would, the 3-year final average salary seems like it would have a
It would have a bigger impact than the Rule of 80.
on the short term.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll entertain a motion to let Jason pursue that free evaluation of our Rule of 80.
So moved.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion further? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. There you go. Absolutely. Moving on to the mayor's report.
Mayor, I'm sorry, one question on Jason's.
Yeah.
Do we need to do anything to formally extend the union contract until we get the salary study back? Okay. All right. Sorry.
No, I apologize, I got ahead of myself. Does anybody else have any questions for Mr. Eisenbach? All right. Mayor's report, you'll see a little flyer there. We're gonna send that out from City Hall. It's a rough draft, nothing's finalized on that, so please don't, let that out right now, but I will, there's some things on there, you know, we're doing a lot of improvements, a lot of stuff, Jason does a really good job on posting things on Facebook and stuff, but we have some, you know, people in our town that aren't on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook myself, but, we get the water bill every month. So this will go into the water bill, just another form. We'll send it out quarterly, you know, spring, summer, fall, and winter. They'll have some updates on it. If any council wanna add anything to that, just let me know. We got some room on there. It's just another additional form of information for our people, so that's pretty much all I have. You'll see on that, there's a lot of improvements coming. Our street guys they're doing a good job. We got, our fire's doing a good job. Our police, great job. I mean, everything's going great, so, from my end, from my aspect of it, so. That's all I have. I'll go to roundtable. Councilperson Bradley? No, sir. Councilperson Kemfer? No, sir. Councilperson Ginevra?
I just wanna wish all the candidates, good luck next week on the municipal elections.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Mr. Becker?
Nope.
Mr. Fisher?
Nope.
Mr. Picarella?
I don't have anything.
Ms. Massa? All right. Well, I do wanna... Oh, I do. I need to, I skimmed right over that. Thank you. Yeah, it'll be on our agenda here. I do need a motion, or I'll entertain a motion to appoint Mr. Casey of Briarton Lane to, the library board. Tanya, recommended him. The library board runs fairly smoothly. We don't do anything on that aspect. I mean, we oversight, but we take our recommendations. That library, they stay well within their budget. They do a good job of it, so I'd entertain a motion to, recommend James Casey be placed on the library board.
I'll move to approve the mayor's appointment.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the regular council meeting.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, guys.